You gotta hand it to Ring of Honor. Not only have they been in business for years now, but they've continually evolved and grown throughout those years. That's pretty good. However, given recent changes and just what the pro wrestling world is in 2017, I think that Ring of Honor could be on the cusp of greatness. Why? Here's why. Now, it's not like ROH hasn't been great for ages, because ROH has been great for ages. Just go and look at the current main roster of WWE. There is so much Ring of Honor talent there, you have to take a step back and go, that is a damn good breeding ground. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns. Right, that last one was obviously a joke. Roman Reigns has never been in Ring of Honor, but I just wanted to conduct a social experiment and see how many people reacted to the comment, paused the video, and then left their own comment below. Be intriguing to see. The point is, the company clearly has a good idea for talent and knows how to breed these people so they continually evolve and get better. So yeah, in many ways they've been a feeder promotion, but you can be a feeder promotion if you continually make big stars, because your current stars can leave, but you've got the confidence to go, well, it doesn't matter, because we've got all these guys over here and we'll just elevate them and the circle of life continues. Recently though, things have felt a bit different. Regardless whether it's just the buzz around the pro wrestling indie scene, or that there is now a viable option away from the WWE, I think a lot may be about to change, and it will most definitely be for the better. The biggest aspect of all of this is that Sinclair, who owns Ring of Honor, recently purchased Tribune, which means now Ring of Honor can be seen in a hell of a lot more homes in North America than it did before this buyout happened. That's cool. Now, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of this deal, because the only thing you need to know is what I've just said. Because Sinclair bought Tribune, Ring of Honor can now potentially be seen by more people in the United States. That's an up. This was ups and downs. I tell you, that's an up. It's a huge up. It's a fantastic up. It's an exciting up. Of course, this doesn't mean that Ring of Honor can now compete with the WWE. To be honest, it will probably never be able to compete with the WWE. Just like the WWE couldn't compete with the NFL, with the XFL, and how we couldn't compete with the Premier League if we came up with some football thing we wanted to start. We failed. Vince and his friends are just too big nowadays, and the amount of cash you'd need just to stand side by side would be astronomical and overwhelming. Just go out and buy a load of donuts instead. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is this very much looks like an indie promotion expanding to the point they may even go away from being an indie promotion. The more eyes we can get on pro wrestling, especially Ring of Honor, because it is presented very nicely, the better for the industry that is, and the more doorways it opens for us to all walk through. Aside from ensuring that ROH isn't going anywhere for a while, I don't think it was anyway, but now it definitely isn't, it gives the talent more options. So if you should look at WWE and go, I don't think that's for me right now, there's a pretty good choice just down the road. If that does happen, that doesn't just mean more exposure for the company, but it means more exposure for the wrestlers, and that is where the big change starts to happen. If all of this does allow ROH to grow in stature, and then you go and work for Ring of Honor and realize you're being pretty successful, then all of a sudden this decision that's been put on your hands means WWE completely has to change what it does when it's going after wrestlers. Take the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks' deal with Ring of Honor and New Japan is meant to be so wonderful that they don't even feel the need to go to WWE. Like, at the moment, there's nothing WWE could do, or you'd assume, that makes them want to change their mind. What that does mean is, though, when WWE do want them, not only do they have to compensate them financially, but make certain guarantees of how they're going to use them too. You've got to convince them to come in, and that's the only way to do it. Money and credibility when it comes to creative. So even if you do enjoy what WWE is currently doing, and yes, as I always say, I am enjoying it, it's always going to get better if there's that threat there, and Ring of Honor getting a little bit bigger does become a threat for all the points we've just outlined. So again, it's not a threat to their business or their bottom line, but it is when it comes to their roster. They want this dude from Ring of Honor. They can't just lowball him or bring him in and make him like a fool, or her for that matter. They have to come up with something good all around. And again, the bigger promotions like Ring of Honor get, and Ring of Honor could be about to get quite big, that's going to change all like the behind the scenes landscape, and wrestlers are going to have more power. And when wrestlers have more power, such as WWE versus WCW, where you're like, well, we can't screw them over, because they then may go to WCW or vice versa, it's good for everybody. It also does make ROH a more appealing place to work. If you're a talent, if you're a performer, you want to do that in front of as many people as possible. And if ROH can go, hey man, we're now on more TV stations than ever, you're going to feel pretty good about that. You know that you're getting yourself out there, you're pushing your brand, and your exposure is going to be bigger than ever. That sounds pretty exciting to me. And let's not forget that as of right now, the Ring of Honor promotion itself, like the matches and the cards it puts on, are fantastic. The wrestlers they've got there are so good it makes you want to cry, and some of the ideas and stories they're coming up with currently are brilliant. Make you do the fist pump. Be it everything going down with the Bullet Club, Jay Lethal's continued improvement, their tag team division, which is amazing and gets better from week to week, or how somehow people there just find a new talent month to month and showcase them. And you've got all of that, and their pay-per-views are worth watching each and every time they're on. And sure, there have been teething issues, but there's always going to be teething issues. The key is that management realizes this, and they do everything they can to make sure it doesn't happen again. And that's all you can ask. They've only got a limited budget, and they're using that budget within their means, but also creating something that we enjoy as fans. That's a win-win. In short, Ring of Honor feels like a legitimate option these days, and maybe a few years ago, that wasn't the case. And yeah, the internet has made that even bigger than it would have been because of the accessibility, but you can't just rely on the internet. It's the fact that Ring of Honor has been able to hone in on all of this and make it their own, create a niche, and it's a niche that continues to get bigger and bigger. It's a genuine alternative for as and when you want it, and is probably right now getting the next class ready, who will then go to WWE. So you can see the stars of tomorrow, and then when they do get to the big time and win the world title, you can spit on them and turn your back on them, because that's what we do. Like when you like a band and you discover them at your local pub, and they get to number one, you're like, oh, they sold out. You know how it works. And that's the way to do it. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about all of this. Then like, share, and subscribe. Head on over to WhatCulture.com and check that out. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Say hey to me at SimonMiller316. I am Simon from WhatCulture, and if you do anything today, go watch Ring of Honor War of the Worlds. That was good.
It's time, once again, for everybody to buy a magazine, please. Yes, that's right, it's issue 5 of our wonderful magazine called Wrestling, and this one is an absolute belter. As you can see from the front cover, it features a massive career retrospective of the Olympic hero, Kurt Angle. Not only that, but it's got a How WWE Should Have Booked the Entire WrestleMania 32 card, written by this 6-foot streak of charisma. The bulk of the magazine is this huge top 100 greatest WrestleMania moments of all time list. Not just that, but you've got Shawn Michaels' crimes against wrestling. You've got the top 10 greatest wrestling managers of all time. You've got columns from Jim Cornette, Tom Pritchard, Shane Douglas, and an interview with the WCPW World Champion, Drew Galloway. Issue 5 of Wrestling will be released on April 10th. You can pre-order it now at shop.whatculture.com. Oh, and about our shop, we're currently in the process of moving all of our merch to a new premises. So shipping stuff like t-shirts, that may take a little bit longer. It doesn't apply to the magazines. Once you order a magazine, we will ship it straight away. But for any other items on our shop.whatculture.com, there might be a little bit of a delay for the next few weeks. But don't let that distract you from buying Wrestling. Buy the magazine. Buy it. Buy the magazine.